Okay, where was I? Let's see here. It's putting a little bit of yellow in the middle of these petals and wetting the whole shape first, making sure it's nice clean water. And depending on how watery it is, the color will dash out a little quicker or not quite as quick. I didn't quite refine that edge. And if it does start moving too much, too far out, then just bring in some plain water, dip it in there, and that will just sort of shove some of that pigment downhill in the direction. I still wanted a little bit more yellow, so I'm bringing some back. Let's see, I'm going to do that on the other two, these guys, I think. Try to keep it pretty light. I know it's already pretty light. Something like that for that one. It would be okay if this petal mingled with this one. In fact, I'll prove that it would be okay. I do have one sort of stripe area that's an overlap of the folding over part of this petal that I'm trying to leave white. I doubt I'm going to be successful at that, but I'll give it a go, and I will eventually probably just be using a scrubby brush to clean it up how I want it. Some strange, not sure what those are. But hopefully you've practiced a little bit with just graded washes and how watery to make the paint to make it move sort of fast or not too fast. Just trying to get it to go kind of where I want it. It's just hard to control in a completely feathered out, blended way. So it just blends out to white. So I think that's going to be good for that one, for all those. Let's see. I think what I'll do now is turn it upside down, which may confuse you, but oh well. And can I get a little smaller brush? I'm going to start refining some of the greens and blues that are going to be behind the petals, this background, except for that, except for this bud. And I'm going to use some phthalo green blue shade and some phthalo blue green shade. Let's say that 10 times fast. And just do sort of a, it's still going to be pretty watery. You'll see where I'm going to go. And to make it simple, I might just, yeah, I'm just going to, ooh, that's watery. It's a little too watery. I'm going to just do up to right there, and then the background. And so I'm just going to mingle in some green and blues of the phthalo, sort of back and forth. And this is still really just kind of underpainting. I want to, that bigger brush is gonna kind of blend everything. And I want it to be blended, but with this wet and wet charged look. But not too much. And I do know where these things are headed, so I know that yellows also makes greens, so I just popped in a little bit of Hansa Yellow Light. I'm not gonna lie, that was fun. And that's gonna set me up for how I'll keep doing more on that one. When you don't have a tape around it, which I should have, it's easy to kind of not realize if you've painted far enough into where you want the shape to go. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I know that this part too is going to be greens. This is a leaf that's facing us, so it's a foreshortened leaf with its point right here. And I'm just doing yellows and blues and greens and keeping them light and having fun. That didn't look so attractive. Make a thirsty brush and kind of pick that up. Not sure why, but oh, actually I think I do know why. Yeah, maybe not. So in the early stages, it is helpful to combine shapes that you know are going to share the same sort of underpainting aspects. I sort of did this one first, and then this one, and that worked because this was still very wet, and so I was able to just sort of pull that color over. I'm gonna do the same under here on the lower side of this leaf, but leave that one edge just sort of white. Well, it's not white, but I'm not going to paint it. It's going to be whatever color was the first underpainting layer I made. Let's see, how about some blue to mix with that green. Phthalo blue and phthalo green do a lot of fun things. Whew, this is some small brush detail stuff that I don't know that I'm so used to. But now I'm going to do this leaf down here. I'm going to skip the, once again, there's sort of an edge of the leaf that doesn't really have nearly as much color. But this one I'm going to have a little bit more of a yellow-green. It's eventually going to get quite dark, but so I'm going to mix a little bit of the Hansa yellow and the phthalo green. And this ends up being pretty nice because it ends up having some greens and reds next to each other, which is usually a good thing. I think I just grabbed some that was more phthalo blue, but it's mixing with the yellows and greens and just turning green. I think I'm going to give it one pop of mostly yellow up there, and just kind of let it mingle and do its watercolor thing. So I don't want to paint anything right next to these shapes just right now. So I'm just kind of looking around thinking what would be kind of good. I think I'm going to get sort of a medium-sized brush and maybe bring in a little bit more of my Quin. Ooh, that was not pure Quin pink. Quin pink, and I'm going to paint it over this bud shape that's in shadow. I'm going to lay down a layer of the same pink over this shape of the plant, whatever that part is. And there's also there's a couple different things going on. There's also some in here, but that's sort of, it kind of is a blended thing. So I'm I put a little bit there, and then I'm going to bring back some water like that. Still thinking of this shape. I need to clean up my pencil lines there, kind of ugly, but I can do that, and it will feather out kind of fun. And I'm actually going to bring in a little bit of yellow. And I'll make sure that that reads as yellow and not green eventually. I think that's, she said. Might as well take the opportunity to just put a little bit more. Actually, no, I think that's wet. I was gonna do, no, I don't think that's too wet. I'm gonna try. I don't want to go there because this shape is definitely next to some shapes that are still wet, and I want to have a crisp edge. If you're painting in my class, I think this is one shape where I left some of the lines out. It's theoretically a continuation of this bud right here, but so hopefully that'll be clear. Yeah, that's enough for this little go round. No, it's not. Can you tell? I'm going to do this one too. I don't think anything next to this is too wet. I would usually have this tilted. But for right now, I'm just sort of laying some color. Okay, really. More soon.